Hi everyone. Today I'm going to introduce you to a therapeutic app called Dexteria. It's part of a larger suite of therapeutic apps that have been designed by occupational therapists and a company called Binary Labs. I initially discovered this app when researching ways to help children who found the mechanics of touch typing and the physical demands of handwriting a challenge because of fine motor difficulties or poor hand-eye coordination. This particular app reinforces fine motor strength, digit isolation and digit manipulation, pinch, tripod grip, and hand-eye coordination. So before we begin exploring these three particular activities that are available through Dexteria, I'll just quickly run through a few ideas about setting up. So the app is easy enough to get from the Apple App Store, and it's only about $6 for a single user license. You can get a multi-user tracking option for an additional $6, and it allows you to put multiple children on the same device, but it will track their individual progress and then give you reports. And you can see there's a report option here at the end. Once you've installed it, you might want to consider removing any kind of bulky protective casing that might make the iPad unstable. You need to lay it flat on the desktop because the children have to use some force and some pressure when they're interacting with the activities. Also, you might want to have a stylus ready, and you can see how I'll be using the stylus later on in this tutorial. So let's quickly begin. We'll start with this first activity, which is called Tap It.
To start, spread your fingers and place your fingertips on the screen.
So this is for fingers and hand movement, strength, coordination, digit manipulation. And the child just puts their hand on the screen
Complete. Remove your hand.
In a comfortable position, and it calibrates.
Dot. Without moving your thumb, tap the other dots.
So the task now is to tap all of the dots, or the triangles, and you can see at this first level, level 1, all of the fingers are being asked to tap in sequence and in order. So at level 2, it'll randomize it. And the hand-eye coordination needs to be a little bit sharper. Sometimes I need to tap or double tap, but it's all randomized. So I'm going through this quite quickly for the purpose of demonstration, but children who have that fine motor difficulty can find this to be a bit of a challenge. This is the third level, and I believe that there are up to 10 levels, and it just increases the demand and the load.
Keep your thumb on the anchor dot.
And prompts the child to make sure they've got good positioning. It increases the load and the demands by making it faster and making the child double tap or even triple tap. I think you've got the idea of that one, so I'm going to move on quickly to another activity, which is the pinch it. Now the pinch it has multiple levels, but in the interest of time and for the purpose of this demonstration, I've just put myself at level 2. At level 1 and level 2, these crabs are stationary, and the student is asked to use an effective pincher grip and quite some strength and pressure to crush these crabs with a pinch. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder than it might look. So at level 3, they move around. Level 1 and level 2, they're stationary. At level 3, they move around. Now at level 4, I have more. And sometimes if the child is finding this frustrating, I'll try and engage them, and we'll do it together and try and make this as fun and playful as possible. And encouraging the child to move their body position, if it's not first working, is a great way to promote some resilience and some problem solving and planning. So now at this level, they're moving around, but they change color. So the child really has to be quite strategic, because if you crush a red one, what happens is they break up and create more. So now you've got a level of discernment, and you've got to be strategic with the crabs that you crush. So I think you've got the idea of that particular activity as well. Then you can move on to write it.
Starting with the arrow dot, use your finger to connect the dots and trace the letter.
Now, without undermining the research and the developers' plans for this in terms of using a finger, I have found that I like to introduce the use of a stylus. And in fact, I was able to find styluses that very much looked like a standard pencil or a regular pencil. So all you're going to do here is you can choose the uppercase, the lowercase, or you can choose numbers. But the reason that I elected to introduce a stylus is I wanted the child to get a sense of the correct amount of pressure that would be required for using a proper lead pencil or a pen. Oops. So I'm just going to change the lowercase, which is generally where I tend to start with children who are emergent writers or just learning how to form numbers and letters. You can see that you've got a number option here. Oops.
0, 1, 2.
So then after the student has engaged with the activities, and sometimes, some days it all depends on what the child's in the mood for. Some days I'll just have them do tap it for a few minutes, or I'll have them just do the letter writing. But ideally what I like to do is ask the children to have a go at all three activities, and generally I'll give them, between 5 and 10 minutes on the iPad. At the end, as a teacher, I can get a report, and it will tell me what the three activities are and how I did. So how many dots I was able to get, the time and the accuracy when I was doing the dot tapping on the tap it. So, and it gives you a nice date here so you can see how accurate I was. I seem to get a little bit better because the next time I did it, I went from 75% accuracy to 96% accuracy. You can email the results to yourself. And then you can clear the results if you want to start all over again. So I'll just give a little bit of a shout out to this because I think this is a fantastic app and I've used it with all kinds of children. And initially when you first introduce it, they really do tend to find it quite fun. There are some other apps here by Binary Labs, which I also have adopted and used, but I'll talk about them in another video at another time. Hope this is helpful. Thanks.